Let's talk about the pros and cons of owning ducks. Let's talk about the first and obvious pro of owning ducks, and that is they are adorable and fluffy when they're really tiny, and they're just fun to have and fun to watch, and they're entertaining. And I think a lot of people, when they get ducklings, they don't realize that they're going to grow up to be ducks, and they just kind of make, you know, that the instant decision without really thinking about what they're gonna do with the duck and when it gets older. One of my favorite things of watching my ducks do is when they get in the water and they kind of just like swim around, and then they'll just like dive underneath to clean themselves, and I could just watch that for hours. They're very, very entertaining. Okay, I'd say that the first con, and this one's also obvious, is that they are very messy. Like really, really messy, especially when they're ducklings. What they'll do is they'll mix their food with their water, and they'll also like get in their water, and when they drink, they just like, their beaks just kind of like go like this, and it just sprays the water everywhere, and so they get their bedding soaked. And it's not too bad when they're, you know, probably the first week or two, but after that, when they start getting bigger, they just make the biggest messes. And so you have to clean out their enclosures all the time. Unless you have them outside, then it's not that big of a deal, right? But if you are raising them when it's cold outside, then you don't want to put them outside, especially because it might not be that safe. And so when they're inside in a little enclosure or something, it can get super, super messy. Ducks poop a lot, and that, you know, goes along with this being messy con, and it just is nasty. And they poop many times throughout the day, and then they poop a lot in every single one of their droppings. And so it just, that's another thing, is it soaks their bedding, and wherever they're sleeping, or laying or hanging out, or wherever their enclosure is, it's just gonna be a mess all the time unless you clean it every week. So I would definitely say being messy is the #1 con of owning ducks. Pro number 2 is their eggs. Ducks lay a lot of eggs, and they're going to be a lot bigger than chicken eggs. They can lay anywhere from 300 to 350 eggs a year. And that's different from chickens, because chickens, they only lay about 200 to 250 eggs a year. Their eggs also have really good health benefits too. They have more vitamin B12, more vitamin A and iron, and they are higher in the fat content, which I know could be a con for some people, but you know, if you've got a healthy diet, it is a good fat that you can eat, and if you've got a healthy diet, then it's not going to affect you, you know, in the negative way. All right, con number 2 is that ducks can be really loud. They make this kind of like cackling noise that can be really annoying to some people. I don't really find it that annoying, but I know a lot of people wouldn't like it. It makes me laugh most of the time, just because it's funny, because they sound like they're laughing in a really, really strange way. Are you gonna be in my video today? She is very, very pregnant, and her udder is really starting to swell. And so, don't step on that. And she is going to give birth here in the next couple weeks. Or days. Who knows how long it will be. But we're excited. I hope she gives me twins, right? Yeah. Pro number 3 is their meat. Some people like the taste of duck meat, some people don't like the taste of duck meat. I have yet to raise any ducks for meat specifically. I am going to do that in the future sometime. But they grow a lot faster than chickens do, and they will gain a lot more weight. So when you butcher them at 8 weeks, they can be, you know, at a max of like 8 or 8.5 pounds, and chickens at about 8 weeks are going to be around 5 pounds max, probably. I know some people get more. It depends on what you're feeding them as well. And the last thing I would say, which is a pro, is that they cost to raise and to have, they cost about as much as chickens do, maybe just a little bit more. And again, it depends on what you're feeding them and like how you feed them, whether you ferment it or you sprout it, or it's just the dry feed. You know, it depends on all of that. The main reasons why people have ducks are either for their eggs or their meat, which, you know, are the two obvious ones. Some people just have them as pets, which I mean, I get that, but, you know, it's not really practical, especially when you, you know, are doing everything you can to save. You don't really want to feed an animal if it's not going to do anything or, you know, reciprocate it to you. And with chickens, you know, chickens are different because they are, you know, good for their meat and for their eggs. They're really good for the environment because they scratch around, you know, do stuff, and the ducks, I feel like, just kind of destroy the ground. And, you know, their poop is a good hot fertilizer. Yeah, there's basically, I would say it's just the meat and the eggs that are, you know, good with the ducks. So I don't want this video to discourage you from getting ducks at all. If you've got, you know, a nice pasture and a good area for your ducks to roam, then it's really easy to take care of them. But if you've got them in a really small enclosure, they'll just make a big mess and just destroy. You know, if you've got grass there, it's gonna be gone, and it ain't coming back for a long time if you've got them on there for a while. And so they can just, you know, wreak havoc on a lot of things. But if you've got, you know, a good space for them to roam around, then it's totally gonna be fine, and I'd say it's worth it to raise the ducks, especially for the eggs. I love duck eggs, and I think they taste better than chicken eggs, and they're bigger, and they're just fun to have. So I would encourage you to get them instead of discouraging you from getting them. I know this video was really short, but I hope you learned a few things from the pros versus cons of owning ducks. So I hope that we will see you in the next video.